I've been doing the podcast for 7 years, and when I talk about North Bergen, Steve, was it like another world we grew up in?
It's another world, another time. I wouldn't trade it for the world, that's for sure.
I mean, I still remember banging on Ernie's door, the bar on 39th Street there and off of Kennedy, and like you bang on the door, he would sleep on the pool table, and you'd bang on his door at 4 in the morning. He had the coldest beer in the world. You could just wake him up. Like, where else could that shit happen? You know, I remember one of the early times I played hooky with you, we were just walking past Wizards because we used to go to a place, Wizards, to get like nickel bags and stuff. I don't know who the creepy guy was in Wizards, like pedophiles hung out up there and stuff like that. Like, I never even went into Wizards until I went to high school. Like, I never knew Wizards existed. And I remember one morning walking past Wizards, and the guy was delivering beer to the liquor store there that later became Ashways. And like the Edlers, they already had a system on how to throw the beer guy off. And we would open up the back and take a case of beer and run. Yeah. And then they would chase us. And I remember one time we brought a case into the high school. And Mr. Lee asked me to open up my locker. And I told him unless he had a warrant, he couldn't open up because I had like a 12-pack of Michelob in there or some shit. Because everybody took the 6-packs out and hid them in the lockers.
Yeah.
From that time on, I told Mr. Lee, get the fuck out of my face, that if he didn't have a warrant, he wasn't getting in my locker. And that was the end of my relationship with Mr. Lee.
Mr. Lee was a tough bastard.
He was fucking tough.
Ex-Marine.
And then years later, we made amends. And we became friends. And when I lived in Colorado, I would keep in touch with him. Wow. Then one day his son called me and told me he died.
Yeah. Memories. I can still remember. Were you with us? When it was so damn cold outside? We went into it was the senior polls. We were juniors. I don't know if you were with me. I know Dee Dee was there. You probably were there.
I was there.
We had in our jackets, we had put all the beers in the jackets to go in, and we had finished everything. We went into the bathroom. We're down in the last beer in Zebeluski, and
oh yes, I was with you.
They come storming in, and like all the places in North Bergen for you to drink. Why do you have to drink here at the school? And Dee Dee turns around and he goes, "Have you been outside tonight? It's fucking freezing."
And then the next day, they made us all go downstairs.
Yep.
And sit in the room, and Mr. Dalton bailed us out.
Yeah.
Mr. Dalton came in, God bless his soul.
Thank God.
And he goes, these guys are good kids. Let them go. And, we never even got a fucking fraction, nothing. I mean, it was I still remember clipping a case of quartz that weren't cold. And we had to put them in somebody's tub and put ice on them.
Yes.
Because you know how cold you know how long it takes to fucking chill a fucking quart of beer. Like, I don't know how many beer trucks we robbed, but it was pretty fucking hysterical when we were kids.
It was a lot more when one of us started to drive. Like when Sharples is 2 years older than us. When Tommy used to drive, that was the best thing because you didn't need anybody to distract. You would just kind of circle the block like on Broadway and stuff by Embassy Liquors, and you'd keep an eye. The beer truck would pull up. You'd watch the guy. Watch him load up his truck. You watch him go in. As soon as he went in, flew down the block, ripped open the sign. You just started passing cases of beer into the car, and you take.
I remember one time robbing cases of beer, and they would hold the back of my pants, so you could hang out the window.
Yes. And
pass the beers into the car. I mean, it was so because of us. Now they have 2 drivers.
Yeah, that's.
If it wasn't the beer truck, it was the Albertsons on Bergen Line Avenue. I remember taking a gallon of wine, that Rosie, Martini and Rossi cooking wine. I remember taking a gallon once, running out of Albertsons and going into Hudson County Park and drinking the whole fucking thing and having a hangover for a whole goddamn weekend. Like I had the worst headache. I never drank wine again.
From that, cheap wine give you a bad hangover, man.
Fucking Albertsons had no security in the mornings. And we would just basically walk in there take the beers and run the fuck out. It's hard to even, it's hard to even, our childhoods, and you were a good guy. Like you were like a straight A type of guy. I still remember, like, you were like, we explain to the people listening, we were out 6 nights a week.
Yeah.
We were out 6 nights a week. Our light night was Sunday night. That was like, we're just smoking 10 joints tonight. And we're drinking a 6-pack each. That was our light night was Saturdays. But we were out, we found an excuse for anything to go out. And we drank out in the cold.
Yeah. You drank out in the cold. Didn't matter if there was snow. Didn't matter if it was snowing. You'd be out in the foot of snow. And
we had drinking gloves.
One glove.
We had drinking gloves. We had gloves that the tips were cut off and shit.
Yeah.
It's just, when I look at you when you come to the shows, I'm so happy because it's like my life is like Jesus. It's like before Christ died and after Christ died. And you were one of my friends before my mom passed. And one of the best stories I tell people is, your brother was older than us and he had his own clique and they were great to hang around with them. They were crazy. Mm. And you invited me and somebody else over to a party once. This had to be September of '79. We were sophomores. And your brothers made this thing and they made it in garbage cans. Tell these fucking people.
You're talking about the punch, right?
The punch.
They would go and get like big blocks of ice from trailer park. They'd steal them from the trailer park. They'd buy one bag of ice and steal like 12 blocks of ice. Sherbet, drink mix, stuff like that. And then they put water in from a hose. And then every and any bottle that people could bring was poured into that. I mean, there was Bacardi, there was scotch, vodka, gin, moonshine. Anything and everything went into that punch, including insects. Killing bees and knocking the bees into the punch. And it was.
And then somebody threw a shoe in there. There was a
It was like that freaking cake from the Little Rascals, right? That he bites into it and gets the mousetrap, the shoe.
There was that night. I remember. I don't know what I drank. It was like beer and the punch combined, and I fell asleep on Richie Sensulo's lawn. If I walked to your house, I would have to walk past Richie Sensulo's house, and he lived like a block and a half from me. You say?
Yeah.
Headed towards Five Corners.
Yep.
And I'll never forget that Ray Ernesto woke me up, the cop that used to always play basketball with us with colored socks. It used to drive me crazy. He would play. We had 2 teachers that played with us. It was him. He played basketball with us, Ray Ernesto, and Mr. Ketterer. The guy with Mr. K with the crew cut.
Right.
But I still remember I liked Ray Ernesto, but whenever he came to play basketball with him, we'd throw elbows at him just because he always wore colored socks and we weren't having it. Like in those days, if you went to gym class with colored socks, they would send you home because if you stepped on glass, the ink would go into your bloodstream or some shit.
When you played basketball on those courts, too, those courts were not tame. They were rough. Those were some great games.
51st Street had some great games. 38th Street. 51st
Tunley Avenue.
Right there.
Remember the courts right on Tunley?
Yes. That's where I played with Albie Muniz, Sulo. Those were some tough games there. 38th Street court.
You had the courts
Kennedy
up by Hashways.
The courts by Hashways. Jesus, I remember playing one-on-one there at 3 in the morning with Richie Sensulo and Danny Calandrillo, my 8th grade summer.
Wow.
That's crazy shit. Like, no curfew. Did you have a curfew? I don't remember us having a curfew. Really.
I did have a curfew. I remember I was supposed to be home by 11. And a lot of times going home, I'd run into my brothers, especially my brother Mike. My brother Mike would always say, "Where you going?" I'm like, "Going home." Yeah, get in the car. I'll call Mom. So he'd stop, they'd be going to get more beer, whatever. He'd stop at a payphone. Yeah, Stevens with me. And then I'd be out till who knows what time. But yeah, it was like, I think when I was a freshman and sophomore, it was like 11. Junior, I was allowed out to like midnight to 1. And then senior year, there was no curfew. Like, even if there was one, it was not adhered to.